It's Super Bowl week, and we're back. I'm AJ here with my co-host Zach. Zach, you doing all right, man?
I am very sore. I went to a workout class yesterday for the first time before Christmas. Yeah, my legs are feeling the burn. I got back home
Kicked your
and
butt a little bit.
yeah, it was a pretty hard one. There's a lot of cardio, which I haven't really done really anything besides eat a lot over Christmas, eat a lot at the wedding, eat a lot at the honeymoon, and drink a lot. And then just getting settled and then just not wanting to go back yet. And then yeah, I got home and laid on the ground for probably a solid 10 minutes, just flat on the ground. Felt
Mhm.
very nice.
You
But
know,
yeah,
I remember
that
after
was,
after basketball games, the floor was always the best place to lay. I didn't want to get sweat on my bed, so it was straight to the ground.
yeah, you don't want to
Does
sit
it
on
does it
a couch or
yeah. Does it feel weird to you that you've been married for a month now already?
it is kind of weird. Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's really wild.
Happened quick. Happened very quick.
How have you been,
But
AJ?
as I've been good, man. I've been good. We're gonna get into why I'm pretty good here. For my did you see it? And you're not. I'm just waiting for you to roast me so hard. It's gonna be one of those episodes for sure.
Okay,
But no,
I'm
man, it's
excited then.
it's Super Bowl week. We talked about how fast the
And
season went all
Waste
year, but
Management Open Week. If you
mm,
like golf, obviously you'd probably watch it. And if you like are interested in golf and want to get into it, it is very fun to watch this tournament
is
because
it like a opening like of the
no,
season, or like how what
it's
is
one
it?
of their opening tournaments, part of the PGA Tour, but they have the hole where the entire hole is surrounded by stands, and it's like the one time in golf where the players will like pump them up and they'll get really loud while they're hitting the ball, and then last year people would hit a hole in one and everyone go crazy. They start throwing beer cans onto the course. It was a lot of fun. Like there's three hole in ones last year.
That shows how fast this year went by because I remember you mentioning that last year as like your one of your did
Probably
you
yeah.
see it?
Yeah,
That's
it was.
unbelievable. Wow. Yeah. No, so I mean, is it going on now? Is it one of those like weekend 3-day
It's Thursday
tournaments
through
or
Sunday. All golf tournaments are
okay,
Thursday through Sunday.
gotcha. Sweet. But yeah, we have
And
Super
it's in
Bowl. We have to
Phoenix, so Phoenix is going to be very
how
busy.
far is Glendale away from Phoenix?
From
Like
where?
is it pretty close? Glendale and Phoenix, that's where the Super
Yeah,
Bowl
it's
is
pretty
at.
close. It's like a little suburb.
So it's like all down there. Because I saw Patrick Mahomes said he wants to like buy a home down there and and kind of like go to Suns games in the off season. He like loves
You
the
bought a
weather
home
down
down
there.
there?
So he said he wants to.
Oh,
So
Patrick
Mahomes to the
Mahomes to
Cardinals
the Cardinals.
confirmed. Yeah. But it is Super Bowl week. Um Already we have our top 10 catchers and top 10 first basemen. And dude, we I just mentioned this off the air, but the catcher's not as bad as what we usually like
Yeah, not
roast about.
surprising. I
So
love
it
Yadier
kind of
Molina,
it kind of
but
surprised
putting
me.
having like a 40-year-old in your top five catchers is
That's true. That's
not
tough. And then
normal.
first base. What do you think about first base? 'Cause I think it's stacked,
Yeah, it's
like
pretty good
loaded.
to kind of look at
Like
my list to remember. I think my list is pretty good. I think I have a couple guys in there that maybe not as many people have heard of,
on
but
first base.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I my list is so deep that my ninth spot was an all-star last year. That's how good.
Really?
And my 10th spot is a guy that popped off in the postseason this last year. So it's a really good list in my opinion. I kind of wanted to see what our other lists look like because it might be one of the better ones we have. But
Yeah, first level we did
we can
in
get it rolling.
like oh where'd we do it? We did it in like the summer, right
Yeah,
before I
yeah, we
came
did like
down here.
mid season, which is not the best.
That was a mistake
Kind
on
of
our part.
want to yeah,
We didn't really
live and
think
learn
about
for
that.
sure. But we can get it started with our did you see it? Mine. I just we don't have to talk about it. I know how you're gonna feel, but as a sports podcast, I feel like we have to mention it. 36 points away, LeBron James for breaking the all-time scoring record. So that is something that I'm very hyped for. I don't think he does it tonight. Uh, Even though it's possible to score 36 against the Thunder, but seems fitting. Kareem used to play for the Bucks. They play the Bucks on Thursday. Kareem was supposed to be at the game. I feel bad for all the fans that spent like $92,000, some of them tonight, because I don't
Yeah, I
think he's
don't know
going to
if
be
I
there
would.
tonight. So
Yeah, I would not.
that's a rough one.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're like a LeBron lover, like you would marry LeBron over anyone else. Like I could see spending that much money, but yeah, I'll just look at it on Twitter whenever it happens.
All right. All right.
I
Sounds
haven't
good.
watched a single NBA game unless it's been
Mhm.
on at like a restaurant or bar and I'm
Yeah.
in there watching.
Well, I do have to say we haven't been talking NBA the last couple episodes because our baseball takes up so much time. But the big move in the NBA is Kyrie to the Mavs, which
Yeah.
I think caught everybody off guard a little bit. I don't. It's weird. They're
Is it
both him and
official
Luca are
now? Because I thought
insane.
at one point it wasn't official.
At one point yesterday, because I was in the middle of TikTok live, and somebody said you need to check Woj's report. It's not official. And then I checked it again last night, and I think it's official now. I think it's locked in.
Gotcha.
Any thoughts from you on that? I know they're both ridiculous ISO ball players, but I want to know.
Yeah.
I still think it's tough. Like Luca finally has that star with him, but they
Yeah.
still don't have the depth that I wish they had.
Markeith Morris, though, they got him in the deal. Low key, kind of a good
There
pickup.
you go. No, it is.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
he's
be the
tough.
steal. Uh, well, I don't know. I just don't like Kyrie that much. He
Yeah.
just he's just one of
It's
those
just
people
toxic.
who's like really, really good at his job, but like doesn't do like very. I don't know how to explain it. Like when he actually
It's
works, he's really good, but then he
yeah.
just never does. He just
It's unpredictable. And I told somebody the other day, I'm fully convinced his goal is to make every fan base hate him because he's going to be a free agent this summer. And I truly believe because the Lakers were really close to getting him.
yeah.
I firmly believe he's going to the Lakers this summer.
Do
That's
you
what
even have enough
I'm
money?
believing. I don't know. It's the Lakers. I would think they'd find some way,
I
but you
hope he
have to
goes to the Lakers because he's gonna screw up that whole thing, and it's gonna be awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be awful. But they would have to get Westbrook's got to be the guy because he has so much money
Yeah.
connected to him. He's got to be the guy to move, and that's why I understand. Like everybody thought it was cool the Kyrie LeBron reunion. AD, that's a really good trio, but how are they like? Why would the Nets want Russell and KD would have been dope actually to see them
I know, like I
back
saw the
together.
return the Lakers are gonna give him. I'm like, yeah, nah.
What? Yeah, like why? And even now, the
I think
Lakers.
they. I have
I
the. I have. Yeah, they got Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, 2027 second round pick, first round pick unprotected, and 2029 second round pick.
yeah.
So only one first round pick, which honestly, like I guess that's kind of what he gets because he never plays anymore.
And then he's probably gone this summer anyway. So I mean, it's better
Yeah,
than get nothing. The thing is, the Lakers are now in talks with like the Raptors for
yeah.
Freddie and Gary Trent. But why would the Raptors want Russell Westbrook
No,
for what
I
if
wouldn't.
they're gonna try to?
That's the thing is, I wouldn't want anyone on the Lakers
I know, yeah, it's a tough
except
spot. I know
Anthony Davis.
they mentioned Austin Reeves, Max Christie, like younger guys, Lonnie Walker, but
Wouldn't
it's
want any
like
of those guys.
not for Kyrie or it's
No.
somebody of that
And then their
caliber.
first round picks are in like 5, 10 years away. Not 5 years now, 4 years away. Like,
No. Well, if you look at it, because I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's like 10 years away. It's 2027, so it's
yeah, too far.
closer than what I thought. But still, it's
Well, you could honestly bank LeBron will most likely possibly retired by then or gone from the Lakers because he likes to hop
yeah.
teams around and ruin them. So they'll probably be really bad. So you could get a pretty good first round pick. So
It was almost something nice. It was almost something nice. But yeah, I thought that was obviously the big news this week. But what do you got? Did you
um,
see it wise for
one more
us?
thing on the Kyrie, then I'll do my did you see it? I think
Mhm.
a lot of times Kyrie will get to a new team and he'll just pop off right away.
Yeah.
So maybe they got him at a good time. Just get him for this stretch. Say see
Mhm.
ya.
It might be, man. It might be. I'm just interested in the Kyrie Luca connection because Luca's definitely not an off-ball player because he creates with the ball in his hands, and Kyrie is a very efficient shooter, but a lot of his stuff is creating for himself.
Yeah.
KD was okay because Kevin Durant could find a way. He could be a spot up shooter if you need him to. So I'm kind of interested if they're just going to like take turns. It reminds me of Russell Westbrook and James Harden, and that obviously didn't work out. I
Yeah.
know I would probably take Kyrie and Luca over them too,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's still going to be something they probably have to work out, and they only have 30 games to do so. So it might be tough
Yeah.
in this short amount of time to get that figured out.
It's going to be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
But so my did you see so Tom Brady retired. We talked about it last episode, but someone was selling went to this found the spot. He took his retirement video and was selling the sand on eBay. And this was 4 days ago, and he had the highest bid was $677. So I'm curious to see how high it actually got. Another did you see it is there's a freshman pitcher going to Mississippi State. I sent it to you, and he's ambidextrous, and he throws 96 mile an hour with his right arm and 92 miles an hour with his left arm. That's pretty crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Um, yeah, I feel like I had one more. Oh my god, I can find it. I can do it. Or maybe I didn't. I did see this one post. It was showing how good Otani was, and it compared him to like Sandy Alcantara's for pitching, and then I forgot who the hitter was. Oh my gosh. But it was like,
It wasn't like Judge or anything like that.
no. But his stats were literally exactly the same as Sandy's, and then like top I forget who it was. It may have been was it I don't know if it was Jordan. It could have been. It may have been someone like that caliber. But it was they were
That's
like
pretty
identical.
amazing.
I was like, oh my god.
Jeez. Back real quick before we get into the Super Bowl, I have to mention about the ambidextrous pitcher. I wonder if do you think that's going to be something sustainable, like, or is that something that he can just do now against what he's facing? Do you think that's something he does at Mississippi State and then he does in pro ball?
Well, I don't know, he can throw pretty hard with both arms, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It'd
It
be
would probably
honestly,
relieve
it'd be so nice.
strain,
Yeah.
like
If
on
he
one
hurts
arm.
one arm, he could pitch with the other. um,
Exactly. Yeah.
but if if he's actually good with both arms, that'd be such a weapon because of the 3 batter minimum.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. That's very true. I feel like that would relieve any type of, like I said, stress, but like pain or injury possibilities. Like if he's, let's say his right arm needs Tommy or not Tommy John, but something less severe. He could
Yeah.
just move to the lefty and just focus on left-handed pitching. Like I feel like there's a way of getting out of like any type of serious injury with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I want to
I
see if
think you
that's
should get
sustainable
Tommy
because
John on both arms, throw even harder. Just go in, cut it
have them
surgically,
both
repair it.
on. I mean, the only ambidextrous guy we've seen is that Venditti, right? The soft tosser that was in here for a while
Yeah, I
in
think
the major
so.
leagues, just for a month and a half or a year, maybe. It wasn't
Yeah.
very long,
No.
but definitely not somebody that throws that hard. But we're getting so many more athletes in baseball, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
You got like Mason Wynn was a dual uh
Hmm.
pitcher and hitter, and now he's obviously just shortstop. But I think we're going to see other Otanis eventually, not to that level of eliteness, but guys that try to do both. I think that's something that we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
But it is Super Bowl week, like I mentioned, and we got to break it down. Last week we kind of just mentioned it a little bit,
I wrote down a
talked
ton of
about AFC.
stuff I can ask you.
Right on, let's go.
I did a
Yeah,
lot.
you get it started then.
Okay. So I guess the line right now is Eagles -1.5. What time? Oh, the game's at 6:30 Eastern. Um, which I always like how it's a little early night game, so it's not
Hmm.
super late.
Hmm.
The over's 51. Get a little background, and so some of the storylines are one, the Kelsey Bowl. It's the first time two brothers are facing off each other in the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool. Um, both both have a Super Bowl under their belts, so it's kind of a one up on the other brother because they're both getting up there in age. They're both over 30, so it's not like they're gonna be playing for too much longer.
Hmm.
Uh, that's really cool. And then a big question is, are the Chiefs receivers going to be healthy? Because Kadarius Toney got hurt, Juju got hurt, I believe, and then someone else got hurt. Did Sky? No, Sky Moore I don't think got hurt. Kadarius Toney, I
Was
think
it
someone else.
was it Valdez Scantling?
No,
Was he
Valdez
banged up
was
a little
fine
bit?
because he played really good last time.
Okay.
But I think that's really huge. I
Mhm.
don't know who else they have really on the roster. I know they have that first round pick, Sky Moore. I don't know if he got hurt. I guess I can look it up.
Real quick, I was gonna say you said the line was 51 points was the over
Over
under.
under, yeah.
I'm going under on that. I think I
You think
will.
so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see it being under. It's kind of yeah, it is kind of high now. You think because they both have good defenses,
Exactly.
and I know Philadelphia. The thing is, they both can score a lot too, so it's gonna be
I
like
know. It's
interesting
tough.
to see.
I think
Uh,
Philly slows the game down a lot. I
they
think
do
they
run. They
run the ball.
That's one. Yeah, that's another one of my things. But Mecole Hardman was hurt. Juju Smith-Schuster and Kadarius Toney. So Kadarius Toney and Mecole Hardman are both some of their speedsters.
Mm-hmm.
Hardman's listed as doubtful. Juju's questionable. Kadarius Toney's questionable. So if they're questionable, I'm just saying they're gonna play. Like it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
like,
Of course. Of course.
you just got to go. Um,
Yeah.
but my third little thing is, can Jalen Hurts step up to the challenge? Because Patrick Mahomes has been there, done that. Jalen Hurts, this is his third year in the league, I believe, going to the Super Bowl. Obviously, he's a proven leader, has all the guys behind him, but can he get it done? He never won it in college, I don't believe,
Mm-hmm.
because he uh I believe I'm like 90% sure. I could be completely wrong, but uh when he was a freshman, Clemson beat them, and then the next year he got him to the title, but then Tua came in and won it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then
And
the
then he just
last,
went to Oklahoma, right?
and then year after that, let me look. I swear he didn't add like starting the game through the whole game actually
Mm-hmm.
win it, but okay, yeah, that did not help. Yeah, I don't remember, but I think the next year they didn't win it because that's when LSU was really good. They beat him in the regular season, but Jalen Hurts stayed there the whole year, I believe. I don't know. I'm kind of confusing myself, but yeah, let's just. I don't
Yeah.
think he did, but I think he can. Like he seems like a super good leader. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's fully healthy from his injury he had later in the season. Because his running ability is going to be huge. I think.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so my next thing is both these D lines are really, really good. So Philly's D line led the league in sacks, 70 sacks. And that was 15 more than the second team, which happened to be the Chiefs. So it'll be interesting to see who wins that battle because I know Philadelphia's offensive line is a lot better than the Chiefs' offensive line, like by a
Mm-hmm.
by like a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
if Philly's D can give Patrick Mahomes struggles, that's obviously beneficial to Philly,
For
which
sure.
I'm interested to see, especially because I think I didn't write that down, but like I know Mahomes, he looked completely fine. Like I don't know if he like shot up whatever in his leg to make it
Yeah.
not hurt, but
I would think after 2 weeks he should be better at least than what he
yeah.
was. Um, I'm looking at a big thing for me is the running game, and I
Hmm.
think Philly does slow the game down, which that's why I have it under 51 points. I'm just gonna say right now, I have Eagles 27-20 in the game. And I think Miles Sanders is a guy that's gonna pop off, and Pacheco's had a good year,
He's on my
surprising year,
fantasy team.
but I like Miles Sanders in that matchup. And if you look at like
Pacheco does a
each
lot
pos-
more like pass catching. They throw a
Yeah,
little flare to him, and then he just somehow never gets tackled,
yeah. Him,
which is crazy to me.
Jarek McKinnon's in the pass game as well.
Yeah, they
So
don't
even
run
though
it a lot.
they don't, and even though you don't have the Tyreek, um, or whoever else, I mean Hardman should be like they should all be probably good to go. Kelsey's obviously the big factor here,
Hmm.
and so if you look at all the individual matchups, like we would agree Mahomes best for quarterback football. We're
Yeah.
taking him over Jalen Hurts, but I'm taking Miles Sanders over whatever running game they have. I'm taking
Well,
AJ Brown
both
and
both
Devonta.
teams have kind of deep running backs, but I think the Eagles have deeper because the Eagles have Sanders. They have what's the other guy's name?
Wilson Scott
Scott. Who just I think I heard this stat somewhere. He like against the Giants, he's scored a
he
touchdown
pops
every
off.
single game they play
Yeah,
against the Giants. It's crazy,
yeah,
which is very
yeah. He
funny.
pops off versus New York. But then I mean, like I'm taking Devontae Smith and
AJ
AJ
Brown.
Brown over
Yeah.
any wide receiver they have. But they have the best. The Chiefs, even though they have the best weapon, I should say, with
Yeah.
Kelsey. They have the best duo out of anybody there. But if you look at everything else, I'm kind of taking the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like defensive line. I know the that's probably pretty like similar, I would say. I know the Phillies D had more sacks, but still just um Chris Jones is just a beast. But
Mhm.
also Philly's pretty good at stopping the run, so I don't feel like the Chiefs are gonna run the ball like they signed Ndamukong Suh, Linville Joseph, and then oh my gosh, the young guy from Georgia who's huge. I think he's not hurt, but
Uh, well, yeah. My goodness, what's his name?
I could not think of his name.
Oh, it's driving me crazy now.
Start with the
Yeah,
J.
I want to say Jordan something or
Jordan Davis.
Davis. Yeah, big boy.
I want to look at their. I think he's back. I think
He just clogs up everything. I
he's
mean,
so big.
even if he's not making plays himself, he takes up three guys with him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's hurt. Yeah, I think he's good. Good to
I would
go.
say unless
They
there's
have
something
Robert
super
Quinn on their
serious.
team. Frick,
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. Now, unless they have something serious, everybody's going to be good to go for this game.
Yeah.
Like, who do you got winning though, and what's your score?
It sucks because there's one, not like, there's Clemson players on both teams, but it's not very, like, playing all the time. I guess Kayvon Wallace from the Eagles is. I don't even know. If I could just not have either win, that'd be nice. That'd be very pleasant for me.
Are you hoping for one of those awful Super Bowls?
Kind of. I'm
I am
just
too.
going with whoever loses. I'm just not gonna credit the winner. Just go at the loser. Just be happy they
Okay.
lost.
Okay. All right. All right. I can get
But
with that.
I don't know. Hmm, it's tough.
Philly.
I was thinking like a 29-26 score line or 30-27, which that would hit the over.
It would hit the over.
Wait, what was your score line?
27-20.
So 47. Okay.
Yep, 47.
Oh man. Hmm. This is tough.
It's very tough.
I'll go. I do think the Eagles are better in everywhere besides quarterback and tight end. But
But those
because
are the
Mahomes and
those are
Kelsey are still
huge.
good, it's going to be close.
Hmm.
But I think, hey, okay, I got to go with what I've been talking about. You know what I'm going to say? Defense wins championships. The Eagles have better defense.
All
So
right.
I'll go. Oh, man. Let's do 30-27.
Okay. All right.
Game
And
field
what?
goal at the end. It goes to overtime.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like 27 is a weird score, but we'll go with it.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
going to
I
go to
mean, I said that too.
overtime. Both teams are going to, someone's going to hit a field goal. No. Someone's going to score something. No, wait, that won't work either. Something with the new overtime rule is going to happen.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say Miles Sanders is my Super Bowl MVP.
I'm going with AJ Brown.
I kind of like that pick actually. I was thinking about that. I feel like obviously the answer, if we're both picking the Eagles, the obvious answer would be Jalen Hurts. But I think it's
The
gonna be one of
Chiefs,
his
the Chiefs,
weapons
it's either going to
to go off.
be, if they win, it's either going to be Mahomes, Kelsey, or Chris Jones, I would say.
Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
like, an outside guy could be Pacheco if he just has one of those where he just gets a bunch of screens and just goes crazy.
Definitely.
Um, I do have a couple. I do have a lot more questions for you.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Go for it.
Which kicker will have a better game, Harrison Butker or Jake Elliott? Because kicking is pretty important, I would say.
Based on my score, I'm gonna say the same because, I was doing the math and that'd be 2 field goals each.
Yeah,
Um.
I would say
Well,
Butker has probably a leg up just because he's been there, like he's
exactly.
been in all these
Yeah.
big games. But I don't know,
Mhm.
Jake I kind of just don't like because Eagle. Ugh. And then another storyline that's pretty cool is Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts are the first African American quarterbacks to face each other in the Super Bowl, which that's pretty crazy. I
It
thought that
is.
happened already.
It is. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing more and more now in the NFL.
Yeah.
With Lamar, obviously Russ. Who else? Who else is? Jalen, Mahomes,
Uh,
um,
Kyler.
Tyler. Yep, Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I love Tyrod. He was so good in college.
It's too bad he
Um,
he got stabbed or whatever it was.
yeah, got his lung punctured. And then my next question is, can Mahomes and Reed get their second ring? Like, if they each get their second ring, I would say Mahomes is probably like he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame anyway already, but he's
Mhm.
for sure uh solidifying himself as one of the best quarterbacks ever. Reed is one of the
What
best,
is
but
what does Mahomes have to do to be the GOAT eventually?
I think you have to win at least get close to Tom Brady's and break
Mm.
like all the passing records.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing too serious, right?
It's not like Brady has every passing record. He has more Super Bowls than any team combined, which is
Mhm, mhm.
ridiculous.
The thing is, he's gonna play. He's played for so long. It's gonna be
Mhm.
hard to break those records.
Yeah.
And then the rings wise, the Patriots were such a dynasty. You're looking
Hmm.
at the Chiefs now. It's not the same team that won the Super Bowl. They
No.
had they had extreme weapons on both sides. Tyrann Mathieu, Tyreek Hill. But now it's really Mahomes and Kelsey kind of just putting
Yeah.
them on their back, kind of, and the defensive side too. But
And you just got some fast receivers. You'll get a big play if
yeah,
they're too focused on Kelsey. But I'm
and Andy
interested to
Reid's great,
see.
but
Yeah.
I was gonna say Andy Reid's great, but Belichick was
Yeah.
methodical and just like it was a dynasty.
Yeah. I'm also interested. I don't know how old Andy Reid is, but like I'm assuming like he's getting up there, right? Like I don't know how many more years he's gonna coach, and then
Mhm.
like Kelsey, I don't know how many more years Kelsey's gonna play. I think Kelsey could play for a while. Like he may not be as explosive, but like super safety blanket.
I feel like
And
Andy
then
Reid. I mean, he's facing his former team. If they win it, he's 64 years old. If they
oh
win it,
wow.
wouldn't this be the way to kind of go out? I know he hasn't said anything about it. I feel like this would
Hmm.
be the way to do it, though, if you're going
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Mhm.
Or yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. I didn't realize he was that
Yeah.
old, but
And he's not the best in shape.
yeah. I do kind of like Andy Reid a little bit. He's just
I do too.
goofy.
I do too.
But yeah, like, cause I'm just thinking like the Chiefs, cause they paid so much money to Mahomes, like in a couple years,
Hmm.
like it's gonna be harder to get like top end guys. You have to really focus on the draft, which they can because their team's so good, so they can just reload. But they're always gonna be good with Mahomes. Like they can always win a Super Bowl every year. But it's just gonna be interesting to see.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and then I put this note. You'll probably think this is funny. I said this is for sure probably the toughest test for Philly like the toughest test Philly has faced all season besides the Cowboys.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
uh,
Oh man.
and then two more questions. Well, I guess one of them we already kind of talked about. Can Philly have success on the ground? I think they can. They run it a
Yeah.
lot, especially with Hurts and his ability to run. And then, who's going to be the guy besides Kelsey to step up on offense for the Chiefs?
I think McKinnon is my pick that kind of has a really good
McKinnon?
game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see. I'm going to lean till Valdez Scantling because he had a really good game last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Yeah,
he'll
he had
be
a really
feeling
good game
good.
last week. I wonder what I mean, I'm sure I guess Slay will probably be on him the majority of the time. I would
They
imagine.
may not even. I think that he may just stay to his side. I don't know.
Yeah. And yeah, maybe so. That's tough because like Kelsey's such a hard guy to defend because
He's so
you don't put
big.
yeah. You
I
don't
want
put
to
like
see his like.
lockdown guys on him. And
Just have to
I've
double
always
him.
yeah, exactly. And tight ends are kind of a cheat code if
Hmm.
you have a really effective one. Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Kelsey, Gronk, like they were just like
Jason Witten. Thank
Jason
you.
Witten. But I mean, it's kind of a cheat code because if they're so big, Shannon Sharp, like all those guys, it's kind of
Hmm.
what do you do with them?
Yeah, Kelsey's 6'5", 250. So
Wow.
he's 33 years old. How old is Jason?
Jason's probably 35 or 36.
35, yeah. So 2 years older.
How big is Jason? Height and weight.
He is 6'3", 282. So
He's
honestly,
shorter.
not that
Interesting.
like 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Wow. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, so
Did you see Jason Kelsey dancing
yeah, that
in
was
the end
funny.
zone? That was amazing. I don't know if we mentioned that or not last episode, but that was amazing.
Oh, that
But
was funny.
so I got Eagles 27-20. Miles Sanders is going to be my MVP. I think if I looked at like the betting, I bet Miles Sanders is not even close to the top for MVP voting. And then you had 30-27 Eagles,
Yeah, sure.
and AJ Brown is your MVP, right?
Yeah. And then
Ooh,
I'm gonna look at the Super Bowl MVP odds. We'll go to Spet MGM Grand.
mhm.
And then while that's loading, we'll do the most fun thing about the Super Bowl is the prop bets, the novelty prop
Yeah,
bets. I got a
forgot about that.
couple.
Yeah.
The color of the Gatorade poured on the winning coach.
Um, Orange.
Orange. Okay. If the Chiefs win, it's going to be red.
Yeah, that's. Now I was thinking green, but what's the green
It'll be
flavor?
lime. It would be like the original, the like
Lemon
lime
lime.
green.
Ooh, low key my favorite Gatorade. Just have to
I
throw that
like
out there.
Glacier, the white one. It's
Oh, the
cherry.
glacier cherry. I'm gonna go orange. I think orange will be the color.
I guess if I pick the Eagles, I would pick something that I think they would drink. I'm going to go with the OG Gatorade, lime green.
Okay.
All right, next one. There's just a couple. Uh, will the Super Bowl MVP thank God, his teammates, or his family first?
Super Bowl MVP. So it's Miles Sanders for me. I don't know Miles Sanders' history too well. I'll go family. I'll go family for Miles Sanders.
I'm going God.
All right.
Um, the odds on a mention of the gambling odds during the TV broadcast.
Oh my goodness. A lot. Especially in today's
Yeah, I would say
sports
so.
world,
Yeah.
a lot. Goodness.
Um,
Yeah.
odds on the Super Bowl coin toss. Uh, heads or tails.
I always go tails. Tails is what I've always said since I was a
Yeah.
kid.
And then odds on the first penalty flag thrown. I don't know if that's time or what kind of penalty. I'm gonna
I
go
was gonna
with
say
a
that.
classic holding
I was gonna say holding as
or a
well.
false
Yeah.
start. A false start. They're getting a little nervous. And then there's
That's fair.
also one I know last year they did was will the opening kickoff be a touchback or not?
I
That
would
one's kind of
imagine
fun.
so.
Get pretty
Yeah.
excited on the first kickoff. Get the blood pumping.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay,
funny.
let's see the. Okay, what the heck? Okay. Patrick Mahomes is number 1, then Jalen Hurts, obviously, then Kelsey, A.J. Brown 4, McKinnon 5,
Mm.
and then, yeah, it only gave me top 5, so that was kind of worthless.
So I'd make some
Um,
good money if I bet on Miles Sanders.
if he gets it.
If he gets it. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This one looks like it had a lot. Oh, my God. Okay. Miles Sanders at plus 3,000. This
Yeah.
is a different website. I've never heard of this website, so I don't know if that's actually like
Reliable.
Chad Henne plus
Oh
10,000.
wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, man.
Well,
I'm excited
hopefully, well,
for
all
it.
I gotta say is hopefully there's some good commercials. Excited for the halftime.
Hmm.
Yeah, and excited for the game to be over. Not kidding.
I'm fired up for Rihanna. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a while since Rihanna came out with
Yeah,
anything. I thought she was dead for the longest time. So
she has
glad
some good songs.
she is, yeah. But anything else Super Bowl wise before we move on to some
No,
baseball
we
here?
can stop talking about these two teams we love.
All right. So let's start with our catchers because I feel like we would agree first base, even though catchers is better than what we thought. First base is
Yeah,
still elite when it comes to comparing these two. I really liked our list last time. I'm still posting them on TikTok. It's taking me forever. I think I got two left on relief pitches, and then I got all the starting pitchers, and I'm like
yeah,
doing like two or three a day. It's taking me
yeah.
forever. But with catchers, it's hard to balance because there's not a whole lot of traditional catchers anymore. It's hard to balance who's going to be a DH more, who's going to
Hmm.
do you value rake guys that rake? Do you value guys that are defensive? And that's why I'm going to start with my number 10 on the defensive side. And with all the metrics, the best defensive catcher in baseball, Jose Trevino of the New York Yankees. Offensively, kind of bleh. 11 homers, 43 RBIs, but had 248, a 671 OPS, which is super low,
Hmm.
2.3 WAR. But defensively, you look at framing metrics, you look at the defensive runs saved. He was an all-star last year. I felt like I just had to give him the respect of putting him in the top
Yeah,
10. So he's going to
I'll
be
tell
my
you right
number
now, I
10.
did not. I guess he's one of my honorable
Yeah.
mentions.
Yeah, I don't
I
blame
was
you.
gonna put him in there because he was an all star and I thought he was hitting pretty good. Then I looked at it was pretty bad. But
Mhm.
I do respect the framing metrics because
Hey, you're a defensive guy, so I tried to give you a little
yeah,
love there and show.
yeah,
There you
because
go.
that's why I think the like automated balls and strikes would kind of like
Mm.
affect the catcher's value like at all. You just get a guy who can
Mhm.
smoke it. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna say one of my honorable mentions, and I feel like it may be kind of a hot take, but I'm not sure.
I think
It
I know who you're gonna say, and
who?
I'm not gonna like it. Are you gonna say Salvi?
Yes.
I knew, man. I love Salvi though. I just have a personal connection with him, but I respect it
He's
because
going to be 33 and he didn't have a great year last year.
mm-hmm.
I still don't know how he
Defensively
hit that many
awful.
home runs. They may have they made him do a drug test.
Yes.
uh
He started off really bad last year, and
yeah.
whenever I was doing my research on him, he still finished. It was not good, but it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
But
He
defensively,
may
though, man,
finish good.
he's
His
bad.
first half was dreadful.
Yeah, definitely.
So my number 10 is a guy who is a backup for a team and that's Danny Jansen.
Yeah,
uh
I
he
respect it.
batted 260, 339 on base, which is pretty high above like all catchers.
Mhm.
15 homers, 44 RBIs. And his defensive metrics aren't bad. He had a defensive WAR of 1, defensive run saved. This is all in Baseball Reference. I don't know how if I'm even looking at the right numbers. It was like a
Oh,
5, so like super solid. And then I added this for every player that I ranked. I put their WRC plus because a lot of people use that,
one of my favorite stats. Yeah.
and it takes the statistic runs created and adjusts that number to account for important external factors like the ballpark. So like if someone would hit the same amount of home runs at Yankee Stadium compared to like Detroit, the Detroit guy would most likely have a higher WRC plus because it's easier to hit him in Yankee
Mhm.
Stadium. So it's adjusted. So WRC plus is 100, so league average, and
Mhm.
then like 120 is like 20% over average. And then like this example, this is on MLB's doc, just so people understand what it is. A player who plays with home games at a hitter-friendly park like Coors Field will have a lower WRC plus than a player who posts identical stats at a pitcher-friendly park like Oakland.
Yeah.
So I put that for all my players. So Danny Jansen's uh, WRC plus was actually the highest out of all the catchers at 140,
Wow.
which I didn't
Wow.
realize. So I think he's super good. I wonder if he'll be catching more because Alejandro Kirk just rakes. So be interested to see. He may get traded too. So who knows?
I think I left him off my list, but he was something he was good defensively too, which that's why I was kind of torn
Yeah.
because he's better offensively than Trevino. But the Blue Jays are in a weird spot because they went and got Varsho, and Varsho's
Mhm.
a guy that I was raving about last year. Was he on our catchers list last year? Is that where we put
For
him?
sure on yours.
Yeah, it must. I was wondering if it was that or like right field because he plays everywhere. I love the guy. He's like one of my favorite players. But they have Kirk and Jansen and Varsho. Varsho is like a utility guy. Kirk's probably more of a
And they have
DH.
the
So
guy
maybe
coming up
they.
in the minors,
That's
Moreno.
right. Yeah, Moreno. I think Jansen gets moved, and I know he
I
was a guy the
trade him.
Cardinals talked about for a while.
Yeah. It was like new bar
We got
him straight up.
we got our guy now. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of our guy, his brother is my number 9, William Contreras. Last year was with the Braves. Now the primary catcher, I would imagine, for the Brewers. They have Victor Caratini there, but I'm sure Contreras will be the guy. Defensively was not very good behind the plate, but offensively was an all-star. 20 homers, 45 RBIs. That's a really low amount of RBIs for 20 homers.
Yeah.
At 278, 2.7 WARs, kind of whatever, but 860 OPS, which is among the tops on this list. Um, I feel like in Miller Park as well, or it's not Miller Park anymore. I think it's American Family
It's
Field or
like
something like that.
great. Yeah. Great American family, which
Yeah,
I don't like.
yeah. I like Miller Park more.
Yeah. Same.
But yeah, he's my number 9. I feel like I had to put him on there.
Yeah, he was my number 9 too. William
Oh, really?
Contreras. Because I
All right.
forgot about him and I was like, he had a pretty good season offensively. He wasn't great defensively. So if I was him, I would have worked a lot on my defense this offseason because he had like -4 defense runs saved. But he can hit, and it's a hitter friendly ballpark. And he had the second highest out of catchers, 138 WRC plus.
Wow. My number 8 is a guy that you absolutely love, and I bet he's high on your list. That's Tyler Stevenson of the
Nope, he's
Cincinnati
number 8 for
Reds.
me too.
We're
He
right
played
on,
50
right
games
on.
last year, so I couldn't put him too high, but I really wanted to.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, last year, if I remember correctly, was he in your top 3?
He was like 5. But if he stays healthy,
Okay.
if he would have played like 100
Yeah,
games, he could literally be like the top catcher because his
definitely.
hitting's incredible and his defense is not
He-
bad. I don't think.
no, yeah, he's
Okay,
he's
it's not
above
great,
average
but
defense.
it's not amazing. But yeah, I think you
Hmm.
looked up defensive metrics, so
Yeah. No, he batted 319 in those 50 games, 854 OPS. He's also like 6'5", which you don't see out of catchers very
yeah.
often.
And he's
But
25
he's I was gonna say
or
he's pretty young
26
still.
now.
So yeah, it's a big thing. It's just health for him for sure. My number 7 was Salvador Perez, and Salvy's been a guy that I've been have been probably in my top 3 for 7, 8 years now. And even though I looked at the metrics and he's so poor defensively, like third last in framing, awful, just around behind the plate in general, it's awful. He did have 23 homers, 76 RBIs. His on base percentage was under 300, which is not great. Had a 757 OPS, which is okay, and then a 2.7 WAR. He might. I'm gonna just. This is my last year. I said this. This is what I was thinking last night when I was making this finalizing this list. Is that this is gonna be my last year of trusting him. If he does another year like that, I'll probably be on board with you and putting him outside my list. But I just have to show the respect for Salvi.
Well, one more thing, because I forgot to mention Tyler Stevens' WRC plus. I wrote them all down, so I'm going to mention them for every player. He had the third highest of everyone, 134. That's very funny. And then so my 7, it's not like my favorite guy that gets me like excited, but He was an All-Star last year, and that is Travis d'Arnaud.
Mm.
Um, who I think is going to have. I don't think he's going to have nearly as good of a season this year. He's getting older, but he had a pretty good season last year. Batted 268, 319 on base, 18 homers, 60 RBIs. All-Star, 2.9 WAR. Not great, but I don't know, just super reliable. You know what you're going to get from him, really.
Yeah.
But I do think he's going to decline, and he could be on the back end of my half or not even in it because there's a lot of younger catchers too in the league. And his
Mhm.
WRC plus, gotta mention it, 120, the lowest on the list. Yeah, so
Mm.
maybe I should have put Tyler Stewart ahead of him, but I feel like he got an all-star, so I gotta at least give him some credit.
Yeah, exactly. And I left him off my list because he's getting older, but also Sean Murphy's the catcher over there now. So I feel like
Oh
Travis,
yeah, didn't even think about
yeah. So
that.
Travis might not get a whole lot of time, or he might be splitting time, or I don't know. Because
That didn't
obviously
even
I know
cross my
Sean
mind.
Murphy.
Man, okay, he's off my list now. Salvy's 10. Okay.
Because Sean Murphy, I'm sure you're really high on him, so he's going to be higher up here for you. My number 6 is the little man up in Toronto, Alejandro Kirk, 14 homers, 63 RBIs, 285 average, a 3.9 WAR, which is higher than the other guys so far on my list here. Um, but I feel like Kirk will probably, we mentioned this with Jansen, probably going to be a DH more than a catcher. I would imagine his body build does not seem like it will last up very long, but he's only 24, which I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. Very young, 786 OPS, and I'm sure he's probably on your list somewhere, but he's my number 6.
My 6 is the Cardinals' new catcher, our new catcher, Wilson Contreras. Uh, 3.9 WAR, hit 243, had a pretty solid year last year. 22 homers, 55 RBIs. Hopefully, stays more healthy for us. 349 on base, which we have not seen a great on base from a catcher in a while. Because Yachty had a lower on base because he'd swing a lot. But I do think his defense is not as good as people make it out to be. He's kind
Yeah.
of a little errant throwing sometimes. He had negative defense run save last year in 72 games as a catcher. He DH'd like 40 games last year. So, yeah, I think he's really good. I think he's going to provide a huge boost for us this year, and I'm pretty excited to see how he'll play. Hopefully, he stays healthy, and he had 132 WRC plus, which is 32% higher than average.
Yeah, Contreras is my number 5, and yeah, 22 homers, and here in St. Louis, he's going to be an upgrade from what Kisner or Herrera would give right now. He's an upgrade from what Yachty was given the last couple of years, and yeah, even though he's probably a little maybe overhyped on the defensive side, he's still got a cannon, and he's going to make a flashy play every once in a while for you.
Yeah.
But no, he's going to bring the pop, and I think we mentioned this whenever on here whenever we signed him, that I feel like he's going to be really rejuvenated playing for a
Mhm.
winning club that obviously it has plans to go deep into the
Yeah, a
postseason.
team that has a way better history than the team he played for before. Better fan base, not
Oh
as
yeah,
toxic. Just a better atmosphere overall.
I love I love the straight face with it all. But yeah, Contreras is my number 5.
Yeah, so my 5 is Kirk, who you had at 6.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be 24. Yeah, he's 24. Batted 285, 372, 14 homers, 3 RBIs. Super durable, all star. Played 139 games. Like you were saying, not bad defensively either. He had 9 defensive runs saved, which is pretty high. So interested to see how many games he DHs and how many games he actually catches this year with Danny Jansen. So
Yeah.
yeah, Kirk. And wait, I forget 129 WRC plus.
Right. How you are with WRC plus. That's how it was like with Whip with the pictures the other day. I going back and editing
It's a
stuff, I
fun
realized I
new
said Whip.
stat to say.
It is. No, it is. Yeah. I think I said Whip like 57 times. Like it was so
Yeah.
many times I was saying Whip.
Because it like takes, I don't know, WRC plus is like, it's not just home run, it's like how many runs you create,
Yeah.
which more
Yeah.
runs created means, more runs.
And I feel like it's a good stat to kind of gauge on who's elite, not just based on a guy hitting 40 homers in
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati or
Yeah.
Baltimore. Because some guys are like in Oakland, and speaking of Oakland, he's not in Oakland anymore. He's in Atlanta. Sean Murphy's my number 4,
Same.
and I feel like our top 4 are going to be the same 4 guys, maybe not in the same order, but Sean Murphy, 18 homers, 66 RBIs, 250 average. The year before, it was like a 220 something average. So he bumped up his average almost 30
Yeah.
points last year. Power looked good. He's great defensively from what I
22nd
remember.
MVP voting.
That's pretty solid, especially playing for Oakland. But 3.54, 332 on base percentage. The Braves had an all-star catcher in Darno, and they got a better one
Mm-hmm.
coming in this year.
Better
The
offensively
Braves are
and
in a
better
good spot.
defensively.
Yeah.
And he had a 122 OPS or WRC plus. I had him at my
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
too.
Okay,
You were
that's right.
perfect.
All
And he
right.
had the Gold Glove the year before, so he's
Mm-hmm.
solid defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Our top 3, man. Our top
yeah.
3 are going to be the same 3 guys. I'm sure of it. But my number 3, I don't know if you're going to have him as your number 3. I know you love this guy. You gush over this guy. Adley Rushman's my number 3, and I think give him, for me, 2 years, 3 years, he's going to be the number 1 catcher in baseball, probably for a while. He just has that build up for him. Number 1 overall pick. Last year, 362 on base percentage. I think that's the highest out of all the guys on my list here. 5.2 WAR, which is the second highest out of all of the guys on my list. 806 OPS, 13 homers. Baltimore's got a keeper for sure in Adley.
My number 3 is Will Smith, not Adley Rushman.
Yeah.
Will Smith's that guy I always kind of forget about as he's a catcher.
Seriously. Yeah.
And he put another great year. He had 24 homers, 87 RBIs, 260 batting average, 343 on base, 4.2 WAR. Played 137 games, so durable. Defense was solid. Never really thought he was that great of a defender, but he had a defensive WAR of, if I can find it, of like 1.3, and he had 7 defensive runs saved, which is pretty good. And I think he's gonna have another good year. He's in a lineup where he has a lot of protection. He's gonna see pitches to hit because he has Freddie and Mookie Betts and all those guys who just rake. And last year he had Trey Turner with him too. So I think he's gonna have another like solid year and probably stay in the top 5 for next year too.
Yeah, I wonder if people will talk. He's my number 2. Will Smith is, and
Wait, hold
I
on.
wonder if.
127.
All right. I wonder if people will talk about him more with like. They still have big names over there. Mookie, Freddie. Who am I missing? Is there any other like major faces offensively that I'm missing? JD Martinez, he's older, but
Yeah.
he's over there now. Like I just feel like the
Who's their
loss of Trey
shortstop?
Turner. Will it be Lux? Will Gavin Lux move over there?
Oh,
I don't
maybe,
know.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
without Trey Turner, Justin Turner was like not the same caliber player, but he was still a big face for them for so many years. I feel like Will Smith might get some love this year. I don't
Yeah.
know. He's still young. 24 homers, 87 RBIs, like you said, 807 OPS. I mean, offensively, you can make a case he's based off last year the best offensive catcher. You can make a case. I probably
Hmm.
wouldn't agree with that case, but you
Yeah.
can make a case for it. He's going to slide in my number 2 spot.
Yeah, my number 2 is Adley Rushman, who we were talking about earlier. 5.2 WAR last year, higher than Will Smith, and he played 113 games compared to Will Smith's like 130 something. He had defense for 1.5. He's really good defensively too, not just only offensively. Wow, I didn't realize he had 18 defensive runs saved. I don't know if that's right. I may have to double check that. That's
Wow.
crazy. And also, I didn't realize this. He was 12th in MVP voting.
Man.
I was very shocked. He was above like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., all these other guys. But 362 on base is really good. 8 OPS. He had a 133 WRC plus, which is the 4th highest.
Mhm.
And he's 25. So no, yeah, he's gonna be 25, or he is 25. So well, his birthday was actually yesterday. Wow,
Is it
weird.
really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
because it said 25 and 1 day.
Oh,
So I think he's gonna be really good next year. I'm excited to see how he plays too. I think he could be that
20.
like Buster Posey, Yadier, great
Mm-hmm.
defensively and great hitter.
Yeah. For Radley or for Adley, I should say, 25 seems almost kind of old because he spent 4 years in college,
Yeah.
which that might be why.
And
But
then that he didn't have to spend as much time in the minors.
exactly, exactly. And I thought he was going to be your number one. Honestly, I really
Mm-mm.
did. But our number one is going to be the same guy here, JT Realmuto. 22 homers, 84 RBIs, 276 average, 342 on base percentage, a 6.5 WAR, which I don't know where that ranks in all of baseball, but definitely the most
It's
out of
pretty high.
all catchers. Had 21 stolen bases as well. I know stolen bases is not a stat that
That's
people talk
crazy.
about as much
I didn't
anymore, but for
realize
a
that.
catcher, that's amazing. So
His most in his
I
career too.
I don't know what his defensive metrics look like compared
I
to
got you. I
like a
got you.
Trevino or
2.1
but
defensive WAR. That's the highest I've seen so far. And then
mhm.
he had 11 defensive runs saved. So super good defense. He won the Gold Glove. He
Wow.
was seventh in MVP voting. And he got the Silver Slugger. So you got to
That's
have
one
him
heck
number
of a
one.
player. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like universally he should be number 1. The
And he's gonna
shredder,
have.
the MLB shredder at number 1, so it has to be true, right?
Yeah, it has to be right. We all know how reliable that is. And he's gonna get great balls to hit with the Phillies with them getting Trey Turner in their lineup stacked. Unfortunately.
Tough team. I'm excited to do our, like, predictions for the season
Uh,
because, that'll be fun.
yeah.
Divisions and awards and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But we have to wrap it up with our top 10 first baseman now. And I mentioned off air, I got a surprise in the middle of the pack. I got a surprise that a guy I think deserves some love. I don't know if you have him on your list or not. My number 10 though is going to be. I mentioned a guy earlier who raked this postseason for the Philadelphia Phillies. I have Reese Hoskins, 30 homers, 76 RBIs, 246 average. Been streaky in his career so far. A lot of homers. Sometimes he bats like 215 for stretches, and then he
Yeah.
raises it back up. But when I looked at guys that were like barely not making the cut for me, I had to put Reese in the top 10.
So this guy, I don't even know who if you know who he is. I don't even know like Vinny Pascantino from the Royals.
Royals, yeah, he raked last year.
He is 25. He only played 72 games last year, but he batted 295, 383 on base,
Mhm.
832 OPS, hit 10 homers, 26 RBIs, and had a 137 WRC plus, which is higher than quite a bit of guys here. And
Mhm.
I think he's going to have a really good year. And I think even in AAA, he was like kind of going crazy too. So
Mhm.
I think I heard it on Just Baseball. They were like raving about him, and I'm like, I looked him up. I'm like, I didn't realize he played that good in that short game. So I'm excited to see how good he does.
Yeah, I mean that's you didn't have Salvi in your top 10, but that's two
No,
Royals players that are
yeah.
almost top 10 guys
It's
for you.
also for not like this coming season, so I think he's going to be good to pop off with a full
Yeah.
season.
I like that you mentioned that because we have to keep reminding people it's a projection of what
Yeah,
2023 will look like. My number 9 is, besides any Cardinals player, my favorite player in all of baseball. Do you know who it is?
Ty France.
Ty France. I love me some Ty France. 20 homers, 83 RBIs, batted 274. Was an all-star for the first time in his career. 3.1 WAR, 338 on base percentage. And that he was batting like 320 for like 3/4 through the year, and then he kind of slowed
Hmm.
off at one point. So Ty France is my guy. He's my number 9. I wish I could put him higher, but yeah.
Yeah, can't. Uh, my number 9 is Christian Walker, Gold Glove first baseman from the Diamondbacks. Uh, 36 homers, 94 RBIs, 242 batting average, not a high batting average. 327 on base. So like guy who like basically hits home runs or strikes out kind of mythology, but won the Gold Glove, had a breakout year. Um, gotta give him some love.
Definitely.
He had I want to see how
He,
many
he,
defense runs saves he had because first base it's always weird. 17.
mhm. He was number 9 for you.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 8 is Nathaniel Lau, and I actually got to see Nathaniel in person in Colorado. And there's a funny story I have to say really quick. We talk about Colorado and like the balls flying there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the craziest things I've seen on a baseball field is when they had the shift on for Nathaniel Lau, and it's between the shortstop's like behind the bag at second base, and the second baseman's kind of shifted over or whatever, and the
Mm-hmm.
ball went in between them on the ground, and it went all the way to the wall. It was like a super ball, man. It's crazy. You can literally see it. But no, Nathaniel, 27 homers, 76 RBIs, batted 302, 358 on base percentage, 851 OPS. I feel like people need to talk about him more. I think he's
Yeah.
26 or 27 still. I think he's still relatively young. Big guy,
Mm-hmm.
lefty. He's going to be a mainstay for the Rangers for sure.
My number 8 is Ty France. You were talking about 3.1 WAR, 274 batting average, 20 homers, 83 RBIs, 338 on base, all star, just super reliable, super solid. Not a like he had 20 home runs, but he's not a big power guy though, like
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
first baseman usually is. But he played 140 games, durable, and he had a 126 WRC plus, which isn't like it's better than average. So like it's a plus,
Yeah.
not like some of these elite first basemen, which we'll get to soon. But
Oh
he's
my
super good.
goodness. Yeah, I think we both have the same number 1, and his WRC plus must be out the roof. So,
It's
my
kind
number
of
7
ridiculous.
my number 7 is former MVP, now with the Houston Astros, Jose Abreu, 15 homers, 75 RBIs, 304. He's 36 years old now. Power's gone down a little bit, 15 homers, but still bad at 304. And I think that power, I'd put money on it right now. He's going to hit more than 15 homers in Houston this year. I'm going
Oh
to put
yeah,
money on that. Crawford box is over there.
yeah.
He's going to be raking. But 824 OPS and a 4.2 WAR. Um, I'm sure he's on your list. I feel like he has to be on everybody's list. So he's my number 7.
My number 7 is Nathaniel Lowe, who you were talking about. Super young, super good, really good hitter. 27 homers, 76 RBIs, as you were saying. 302 batting average, one of the few guys over 300. I still young, 27, so I'm excited to see how he does this year. Um, he'll be a huge part of the Texas Rangers and them hopefully trying to get to the playoffs.
Yeah. So I might be making a change on the spot. Let me check one thing. I got to check one step before I make this change because I'm on my controversial guy here.
I don't even know who it is. Can I guess?
You can guess. Yeah, you can guess.
Josh Bell.
No, you've named this guy already on your
Uh,
list.
Christian Walker.
Yeah, so I'll play it safe. I'll play it safe. Christian Walker is my number 6, and I was really thinking about putting him in my number 5 spot, moving a perennial all-star down. But he is 31, 36 homers, 94 RBIs. His defensive metrics were off the roof last year.
Yeah. His
He's
WRC
kind of just
plus
dealt with
though was 119, which was the
that's
lowest
low
on the
for
list just
him.
because he played in Arizona.
Interesting. Gotcha. But he had a 5.1 WAR, which is third highest. Only behind Goldie and Freddie. Um, he had an 804 OPS, on base percentage 327. He won a Gold Glove, like you mentioned. I was surprised. I thought you wouldn't have him on your list. That's why I kind of
No, I
hyped
had
it
him
up.
on.
I guess a little. I hyped it up a little too much, but 36 homers is great.
Yeah.
And I think even though
I'm
he's
interested to
31,
see
I feel like
if he can do that, keep it up or not.
I hope so. I hope so. I get hooked on players. I get hooked on
Yeah.
watching guys like Ty France. I'm hooked on Christian Walker after looking at all the metrics. So I'm going to be a Christian Walker fan.
Nice. So my 6 is Jose Abreu, who you're talking about. I think he's gonna have a super good year this upcoming year with Houston. Batted over 300 last year, 378 on base, 15 homers, 75 RBIs. Just ultimate upgrade for them, which they needed a first baseman. They got a stud, 4.2 WAR, and 138 WRC plus, which is fifth, fifth out of no, yeah, fifth out of the guys on the list. So he can
I
rake.
think he's probably the oldest guy on this
Yeah.
list. Also, I'm almost
Uh,
sure of that.
Yeah, he's 1 year older than Goldie.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize. I mean, goalie's that old. I didn't put
Goldie's
that together.
35. Brady's
Ooh.
36.
My number five is I said perennial all star. I should say multiple time all star. Matt Olson is my number five,
Same.
and he's a okay. Yeah. So I was gonna put Christian Walker over him, but Olson's only 28 still, which I thought he was at least 30. But 34 homers, 103 RBIs. The average went
He's
down
had more proven
from
seasons than Christian Walker
exactly.
and a couple more
That's
gold
another huge.
gloves.
Yeah, that's another huge thing. But 242 or 240 average, which was lower than what he did in Oakland. 802 OPS. Really, he had a great power. And what was WRC plus?
120.
That's interesting. He had 34 homers, 100 RBIs. You look at
44
those two, like,
doubles. He had a
wow.
ton of doubles.
Yeah, he's always been a double guy, but like the on base percentage is kind of low. Um,
I think he's going to have a bounce
oh,
back year. His first year with the team. He also played every
yeah,
single game, which is kind of cool.
that is
Uh,
cool.
Super durable,
I,
but I
if
think he's going to have a good year or similar.
If I remember correctly, I think he's on an Iron Man streak right now. Does it say the years before? Did he play
He had
all the games the year
156
before?
games the year before, so he could be.
Okay.
It's not super long, though.
Okay. No, I thought it was longer then. Never mind. My number four is our favorite player in all of baseball. Pete Alonso is my number four. 40 homers, 131 RBIs. For everybody that doesn't know who we are, that's definitely sarcasm. I have to point that out. But 4.4 WAR, 352 on base percentage, which is pretty solid. 869 OPS, batted 270. Dude, he's only been in the league for like 4 years. I feel like he's been
Yeah,
here
he was
forever.
my number four, too. I think we're going to have the same,
Definitely
maybe,
are.
depending on what you said. But he led the league in RBIs, 40 bombs. Yeah, it's crazy he's only been in the league 4 years. Uh, it's a lot of
Kind of
home
surprised
runs.
me. Kind of surprised me. 40 led the league.
What?
You say 40 led the National League?
No, RBIs, 131 RBIs.
Oh, okay, okay. Who did lead the
Eighth,
National? Now that I'm thinking about it, who did lead the National League in homers? Obviously
uh,
Judge, but was it Alonso with 40?
no,
Because Goldie was up there. Remember for the Triple Crown, and Goldie finished with 35.
it wasn't Machado. Schwarber?
Oh, I
It
think
was
you're right.
Schwarber. He had like
I'm almost
45.
positive. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna have
but
the same top. We're gonna have the same top three for sure.
yeah, Alonso, 352 on base, which is actually one of his highest in his career. Super solid, like just rakes. I don't think he's not the greatest defensive player. Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, he is not. -2 defensive runs
Ideal,
saved.
ideal DH.
Yeah, 143 WRC plus, same as Nathaniel Lowe. So tied for third. Yeah,
Very good stuff. Yeah. My number three is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'm sure
same.
that's yours. Okay. He kind of had a drop off last year compared to
Yeah,
the year before, but he's like 24, 25 years old. He's going to pop off this year,
still
and he might be a
23.
low key 23, man. Yeah, he might be a low key MVP candidate for me this
Yeah,
year. That might be a guy that I throw in that conversation. But he's for an off year for him, 32 and 97,
yeah.
200 or 274 average, 818 OPS. I'll take that off year
Won a
any
Gold
day of the
Glove.
week. Yeah, kind of low key too, because he's a big guy that doesn't look very athletic, but he's got soft
Yeah,
hands.
3 defense runs saved. I don't know if he should have won that or not, but
I saw that too, and that it made me think. I wonder what the rest of the league look like,
yeah,
like
for
the
real.
guys. I kind of want to go check that after this.
And he led the
Um,
league in ground and double plays,
I believe that. I
so
definitely
that's a
believe
plus.
that. um, Number two, Freddie Freeman of the Los
Yeah,
Angeles Dodgers. Yeah. 21 homers, 100 RBIs. The power a little bit down, but batted 325, 407 on base percentage, a 5.9 WAR, a 918 OPS. We're getting into these top two guys are
they're
like arguably
ridiculous.
best hitter in baseball
He
type of
led the
comp.
league. He led, I think it's NL in doubles, 47. Led in on base percentage. Led in hits, runs, at plate appearances. He played 159 games. He's
Mm.
so reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the last 5 seasons, uh, he's been over 158 games. The COVID year, he played all the games, which was 60. So
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And very, I don't know if you mentioned it, but very good defensively too.
Oh
So, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. Very. Let's check out those.
he's got it all for him.
Um, the defense run save for first baseman is kind of not great.
It's, yeah.
He has a -2, but we know he's not that. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like,
I think
but
Goldie's might be around there too. And we know Goldie's better
probably,
than that.
but I Freddie, if he keeps, he's 30. I thought he was older than what he is. He's 33. If he keeps playing like this, Hall of Fame. Like
Mm.
he has 292 homers, almost a 2,000 hits, 100 away. You can get that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like career 298 batting average, a career 386 on base. He's won
The
an
MVP
MVP. It
under
was
his
a
belt.
COVID shortened year, but he's been top 10 in MVP voting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we're gonna put Goldie at age 35 in that conversation, we need to put Freddie at age 33 in that conversation.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and yeah, gotta find it. This is where they get high. 157 WRC plus.
Wow, dude. Yeah, I'm interested to see the WRC plus for this guy. Our
Very
number
high.
one, our first baseman,
The
Paul
greatest player in
Goldschmidt.
MLB history.
35 homers, 115 RBIs, 317 average, 981 OPS, 7.8 WAR, which I think was second highest in baseball to Judge, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. Was on pace for the gold or the Triple
Triple
Crown there
crown.
for a while.
Fell off
Yeah.
there at the end,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't help us in the
Yeah.
postseason either. But let's
Yeah,
just
well, I
not
was
talk
gonna
about. Let's
say,
just not talk about. Let's just not talk about it. Um, yeah, stud. 35 homers, 115 RBIs. You're saying led the league in slugging, OPS, OPS plus, Silver Slugger. Defensively, I don't think his stats were. He had 2 defense runs saved. I'll take it. But
Mhm.
just he does so much. Just hitting, can do everything. Hit for average, hit for power. Uh, this was the second most home runs he's had in his career. His most, he had 36 in 2 years in Arizona. But he's been super solid. If you look at his time at St. Louis, his what he's done, very good.
Mhm.
So I think he can have another MVP caliber season if he keeps it up. But he's super important just in the clubhouse, on defense, helping our infielders be even better. Because remember how bad we were at infielder when we had Matt Carpenter and Jose
Oh,
Martinez playing first base. That was a
oh yeah.
experience.
Uh-huh.
But he just makes everyone better. Him and Arenado just making crazy plays, and then he's just so good. Just a great leader, just a great person too. Just like the definition of like a St. Louis Cardinal player.
Definitely.
With
I hope
Go ahead.
I hope this wasn't like his peak. I feel like this I mean
I
it
don't
has to
think
be a peak.
so. The year
I
before
just hope
he had almost like identical, like a little less and everything, but
yeah.
still up there.
I mean I guess I shouldn't say peak cuz I don't mean like I don't mean I don't want it like he should play better.
Mm. Yeah,
I mean like I hope this wasn't the end. Like this is as
yeah,
high as he can go and then he starts
yeah,
coming down cuz he's 35.
yeah,
Like if this is his peak as in play style and playability, then yeah, that I'll take that as his peak. But
yeah.
like I hope it's not like next year we're like, oh, Goldie's starting to come down now. I hope
Mm.
it's not like that yet.
I think Goldie does. He has 1,700, 1,750 for hits, so he has to get over at least 2,000 to get in the Hall of Fame. He's at 315 homers. I think he could get to 400. I think he could reach it.
What
That's
is that?
like
85 and
85.
yeah, yeah. I
I th-
believe you could hit that.
yeah, I think he can do that. And then this is crazy to me. He had a 177 WRC plus, 20 points higher than Freddie. He was second.
My goodness, man. That's pretty unbelievable. That makes me look up right now what Aaron Judge's was. Because I'm sure it's I mean it takes him to play Yankee Stadium, but
Yeah.
I gotta find this out now.
Here, I'm looking it up right now. I got
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
If the page loads, he had a oh god, 207.
Wow, that's the highest I've ever seen. That's 207's wild.
I'm
That's
assuming
that's
Goldie
double the average.
had to be second.
Yeah, he had to have been.
It's just if you want to look up WRC plus, just type in a player's name, then type fan graphs, and it has it.
Gotcha. You gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got to be second though. There can't be anybody. The two MVPs.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the stat. Okay, here we go. Let's sort. Oh, come on, man. Stupid ad pops up. Close. Um. All right. Sorry for the delay.
Trying to think of anybody that could possibly, and if Freddie's not, oh,
This is so funny. So Aaron Judge is second.
uh-huh.
Guess who's number
Wait,
one?
what?
He played 47 games.
Aaron Judge was second in baseball in the WRC plus.
But this guy had a really good 47 games.
Who is that?
You're gonna die whenever I say the name.
Oh no!
Matt Carpenter.
Oh my goodness! Of course it is. Of course it
Yeah.
is. You know, to be honest, that 47 game stretch was some of the best baseball I've ever seen a player play. So
Yeah.
that's funny. All right. Well, that was our top 10 catchers, first baseman, Super Bowls predictions. Um, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoying hopefully an awful Super Bowl game, and we will see you guys next week for our what second and shortstop? Is that are we just going around the
Yeah.
horn or
Sure.
second and shortstop? And then we'll also have another interview next week. We took a break off this week because we thought, Super Bowl, everybody's kind of busy, kind of hard to fit that in. So everybody have a great rest of your week and weekend, and we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.